Google Classroom has taken everyone by storm, especially during the COVID-19 scenario, wherein people are working from home and educators are teaching from home. And when this has happened during the COVID situation, students, they are at home and they need to be given knowledge. And Google Classroom has come as a very positive sign from Google in order to help the students. Now, Classroom has been there for a long time now, but it has been used at a very fast and a very beautiful way during the COVID situation. Now, Google Classroom helps you to create assignments, quizzes, and multiple other features and facilities in order to help your learning initiatives to teach the students who are at home. We have many new features like the Google Meet sessions inbuilt onto your Google Classroom, and further restrictions, controls, and security features built in to that of your Google Classroom. In this video, I will take you through the entire feature list of Google Classroom and show you step by step on how to create classes, create quizzes, create assignments, and do whatever you can with Google Classroom. So stay tuned till the end of this video to learn how you can use Google Classroom to achieve the best of online learning capabilities from this solution. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to get all my latest videos on Google Classroom, G Suite, and everything on Google Cloud and the other technology available on the internet. So let's get started, and let me take you through each and every aspect of Google Classroom in this video. So in order to go to Google Classroom, you simply go into classroom.google.com, and once you are here, you would be able to see the dashboard wherein all your classes are listed on a single dashboard. Now over here, you would be able to identify the class you're teaching, and you would be able to access that and enter and view the class materials and add students or add co-teachers within that particular class. Now you can easily create a class by clicking on the plus icon on the right side of your screen, and you can simply click on the create class button. Now for your students can join a class by clicking on the join class button, or they can simply accept the link which they get over an email when they are invited to the class. Now in this video, I'm taking you through the teacher's approach for Google Classroom, and over here, let me create a class for you. Now, when you create a class, you would be asked to fill in certain details like the class name, the section, the subject, and the room. These are specific identifiers so that you would be able to understand which class you want to work on, or you want to edit, or you want to push courses. So this is something very easy and very important for you to identify the class you're going to teach in. So for this demonstration, I would choose to have the name of the class as Magic Math, right? So I'm going to show some magic math in this session to my students. Now I can choose to have the section, the subject, and the other things also mentioned. So this will be easier for me to identify which class I am teaching on at a later stage. So just for the namesake, I will add the section as section A, subject as mathematics, and the room I will probably skip at this time. And I will simply say create. Now, when I create this class, I would now go into the dashboard of the Magic Math class. And the same way, I can click on any other class and go into the dashboard for that specific class by just clicking into that. Google Classroom is a very easy and interactive way of teaching your students. You would be able to deliver quiz assignments, normal assignments, materials, or ask random quizzes with your students just like that. And in this video, I'm taking you through all of that. So stay tuned and watch this video to the end. If you like my video till here, please click on the like button and subscribe to my channel to get more amazing such videos in your YouTube feed. So now we have the Google Classroom dashboard loaded, and here on the Google Classroom dashboard, let me first explain to you the features or elements which are available on the Google Classroom dashboard for that specific class. So here you have the 4 sections, namely stream, classwork, people, and grades. And here you would be able to take your classroom to the next level. You would also be able to see the name of the class, the section of the class, and the class code. And you can also generate a meeting link on this specific class. Now the meeting link is so that you can have a video call with your students And this meeting link is secure, and it has a unique feature wherein the meeting link can only be accessed by students if there is a teacher already present on that particular link. If the teacher is not present on that link, the students will not be able to join that particular link. And in the same way, when the students leave the class and after the teacher exits, the students will not be able to access that link the same way as I mentioned before, unless and until a teacher is available on that particular meeting link. So it's a very good feature for you to use. Further, you can change the themes by clicking on the select theme button, and you can choose a theme depending on your class. Now, Google is pretty smart and it has chosen the theme according to my subject. I wanted to do magic math, and it has given me a mathematical theme on my classroom dashboard automatically. So I don't want to do anything further here, and I will take you through what is Stream. On the Stream section, you can easily share announcements with your students by just typing in some announcements over here. Let me say quick announcement. Or you can even add a certain links over here, like the Google Drive link, a normal website link, a file, or even a YouTube video. Now, this is so that your students can see these links easily on the dashboard as soon as they jump into a classroom. Now, you can also post an announcement to a single class, or you can choose to have it to multiple classes at the same time. Now, in this demonstration, I'm going to choose to only have it for the Magic Math class. And once you are happy with your post, you can simply choose to post the announcement, or you can click on the arrow and schedule the announcement, or save it as draft for a later stage. Now, for this demo, I'm going to post this announcement right away. Now, once I have posted it, all my students would be able to see this announcement easily, and they would be able to understand and take an action based on my announcement. Now, let me quickly jump into Classwork. Now, Classwork is an important section for Google Classroom. This is something where you have most of your curriculum listed, structured, and delivered to your students. Now, for you to do that, you need to create topics and put courses and materials within those topics. A topic is basically a section, a container, wherein you can have these course materials structured. Now, if you have a classroom curriculum already defined, you would be able to easily replicate this using the topics section. Now, before I start creating my curriculum on the Google Classroom, I would start by adding topics to this so that I have a structure which I can follow and start feeding my course materials into. Now, over here, let me just say introduction to Magic Math. Okay, and I'll say add, and I want to have maybe another topic over here which says maybe addition. Okay, and then I will have another topic called subtraction. Now, I'll have the final topic for my classroom, which is maybe the quiz. So I'll just select it from here and I'll say quiz, right? Now, as you can see, the topics which I have created are jumbled and it is not in order. I want to have it in a structure so that my curriculum is in a proper manner and it's according to the delivery of my lesson. So first would come introduction to math. So I would just drag and rearrange it. I would maybe teach addition next. So I will rearrange that there. And third, I will teach subtraction. So I will just select it and I'll drag it. And finally, I will have the quiz. So I have my topics arranged properly. Now, once I have the topics arranged in the way I wanted, I can start creating the assignments or whatever course materials I want. Now, an assignment is a post wherein you can deliver or request your students to submit an assignment. It can be a Google Doc or it can be a offline work which the student has to complete and maybe share it with the teacher as an image or a screenshot or anything of that sort. So that is something for the assignments. You also have quiz assignments. So these are basically a Google form, and this is a quiz enabled Google form with self-grading mechanisms built into it, so that when your student is going through that quiz, as and when the student progresses and fills in the correct answers, the student is self-graded. And the moment that quiz is completed by the student, the grades are automatically added into the Google Classroom. Now there are certain tricks on how to use this, and I would be talking to you about that when I come to the quiz assignments later on in this video. You also have the question section wherein you can ask a random question to the student. This is not containerized within a Google form, but this is a question which is asked within the classroom itself. Now, many a times you need to share materials with the students so that the student can prepare for the class or for an upcoming quiz or for an upcoming lesson which is to be taught in that class. So you can use the materials section to do that. Further, if you have any other post which you have created earlier and you want to reuse it, you can click on the reuse post and reuse a previously created post on that particular classroom. So Google Classroom is very simple to use, and it's just a click of a button and you can deliver multiple things to your students. So let me start by taking you to the assignment section. Now, as I said, the assignment section is very simple to use and easy to use. Let me start by adding a quick assignment onto this particular classroom. So I will say assignment for addition, okay? And for me to understand if this is an assignment, I will also write that this is an assignment, put a colon against it so that I know that this is an assignment, okay? Further, if I want to give some instructions to my students, I will say that please fill in this assignment based on the questions on the document. Now, once this is created, you can also add a document onto this assignment, and this document can be a Google Drive document, a link, a file, or a YouTube video. Now, if you can put a Google Drive document in it, it's going to be really helpful for the students so that the student can also edit that individual document themselves. Let me show you an example. Now, I have a couple of questions over here, and let me maybe use this particular. Okay, let me use this document here for addition. Okay, I'm going to add this here, and as you can see that this document has now been added onto my assignment section. Now, by default, this is going to be on the students can view file over here. Now, that's not going to be very helpful for you on an assignment, right? So you need to have each and every student have their own copy for this particular assignment. You can easily do that by clicking on the students can view file and changing it to make a copy for each student. This way, whenever a student joins this classroom and there is an assignment, the specific assignment would get duplicated for each and every student so that they can benefit from this assignment, and they will have their own set of document wherein they can simply update it and submit it to the student for grading. Once that is done, you can choose to define the points of this assignment. You can change the due date, wherein the due date has to be updated, wherein this assignment has to be submitted to the teacher. You can choose a date, let's say maybe 21st of May, and you can choose a time, and let's say 11:59 p.m. is fine. So that's end of day on 21st of May 2020. Now, I can also choose to have it placed under a specific topic. Okay. Now, since I have not yet created my materials and I don't want to give an assignment to my students before teaching them how to do addition, I will quickly go and add it, or I would place this assignment under the additions section rather than putting it into the introduction to Magic Math. So I'm just putting it into the addition section over here. You also have a facility to have a rubric mode of grading, which is grading methodology. And you can also check the originality report, wherein you can look into the plagiarism and other things, and you can learn more on how to do this by clicking on this button over here. Now, once you are happy with the post, you can choose to assign it immediately, or you can choose to schedule that post as we saw in the announcement section as well, or you can save it as a draft. So I'm going to just go ahead and assign this post straight away. Now, once this assignment has been added onto my structure, as you can see, this has been added and it has been assigned to all the students. Now, I need to add a course material also so that I can teach my students what is Magic Math and show them how they can easily do sums using Magic Maths. If I want to show my students how to prepare for a lesson in Magic Math, or if I want to give them a material after I finish my lesson, I can easily do that by going into create, using the material section, and choosing to create a material over here. So let me say Magic Math 101 is my material, and here I will teach you, you will learn how to use Magic Math for addition and subtraction. Right now, this is something which a student can benefit from before or after a lesson. Now I'm just going to assign it to the introduction to Magic Math topic and then post it onto my classroom. Now I have 2 topics and 2 courses created within this classroom. Next is the subtraction, and I'm going to have subtraction also as maybe a question, a quick question. It's not going to be a quiz assignment. The quiz assignment, I'm going to save it for the last topic. Now you can choose to have multiple materials, multiple assignments within each topic, and for this demo I'm keeping it to the minimum documentations possible. So I'm going to add a question over here so that you see all types of posts available in Google Classroom. So I'll say quick question. I'll say maybe what is 4 minus 2? Okay, now I can choose to have instructions over here, or I can easily go ahead and post it within a topic, which is the subtraction topic, and I can say ask. Now ask is basically I'm going to ask a question to my students, and at the same time I can do all these basic features which were there in the normal post, like scheduling or saving as draft in a question as well. Now I want to just post this question, so I'm going to ask that student on that particular question. Now the question is also done. Now let's quickly jump into the quiz assignment and create a quiz using Google Forms. Now to create a quiz using Google Forms, you can simply go into the create button and jump into the quiz assignment. And within the quiz assignment, you can have the title mentioned here, which is maybe Magic Math quiz, and instructions that you need to click on the form and complete the quiz within that form, and then submit the form at the end of the quiz. All these things you can write it down depending on what you want to explain to the students, and then you want to quickly jump into the form and create the quiz on that particular post. So you simply click on the blank quiz which is written over here, and you're redirected to a new page, and here you just type in the name of the quiz, Magic Math quiz part of course, whatever you want to write. And once you have updated the name over here, you can simply copy it and update the name of the file as well, so that you know and the students know the file name when it is come for the assignment. Now on the question side, I'm going to ask them a couple of questions like what is 5 plus 7? Okay, and I'm going to put in some of the answers over here like 10, 12, 11, 8, and I can have the multiple choice questions over here. And since this is a self-grading quiz, I can choose to have the answer key as well on this particular question. So the answer key would be clicked, and I can choose the right answer. So 5 plus 7 is 12, so I will choose 12, and I will give it 1 point. Now that 1 point is added, and as you can see, the total points on the top, it gets updated to 1 point. Further, I'm going to mark this as a required question, and I'm going to add another question to my quiz. I'm going to ask the students, what is 10 minus 2? Again, I'm just giving examples over here. You can have multiple questions of different kinds, and you can make it easy, difficult, or however you want, right? So 10 minus 2, what is it? So I can say 8, I can say 10, I can say 12, I can say whatever I want, right? And then I just go in and give in the answer key saying that the answer is 8. Now you can choose to have the points also updated here, and I would say done. Now one of the I will also mark this question as a required question. One of the very important things you need to do before you end the creation of this quiz is that you need to go into settings, and you need to make the limit to response option enabled. This is so that your grades which are collected on the Google Forms can be automatically pulled in to the Google Classroom. If you give your students multiple options or multiple responses, then those grades do not come into your classroom. You can also choose to collect the email addresses as as a feature. That is not important, but you can choose to do so. That is good. And once you are happy with it, you can simply say save. And since it is a quiz, you won't maybe allow the option to edit the quiz at a later stage. So whatever we have chosen in this example, it's fine. Now the quiz is ready. I can simply close this because all changes are saved in Google Drive automatically. I don't have to save anything manually, and I can simply close that tab. Okay. Now before I assign this particular quiz to my students, I always prefer, this is not important, but I prefer to just refresh the page and then open the draft which is created on the top to just see and edit the assignment, to just see if everything is in place and if the name has been updated, if it has been reflected on the quiz. And as you can see, Classroom can import grades for assignments. Grade importing automatically limits each form to one response per user, collects email addresses, restricts responses to your domain. These are the options which we had also selected. And I need to enable this so that my grades which are on the Google form gets imported automatically as and when the student completes that particular Google form quiz. Now I'm happy with whatever I've done. I'm going to simply update the due date to a certain date over here. Let's say 26th of May and 11:59 p.m. is good. And I'm going to choose the topic as quiz. And I'm going to simply go ahead and assign it. Now, as I had previously shown in the announcements section, you can also have this quiz or this post pushed to multiple classes at the same time. You simply need to select the classes wherein you need to push the assignments, and you can have it to multiple classrooms at the same time. Now, again, in this example, I'm just going to have it for one singular classroom. And I'm going to simply go ahead and assign this. Students will see the assignments in their streams immediately, which is good. Let me just go ahead and assign it. If you want the students not to see the assignments immediately, you need to schedule your post so that it goes at that particular time. Now, as and when you are putting in these courses and assignments, you can see that these assignments are turned in by 0 people and it is assigned by 0 people. That's because you don't have anyone in this particular class. Now, here we can now go into the next section, which is the people section. Now, before the people section, I would like to cover Google Meet, Google Calendars, and Class Drive folders. Now, Google Meet is the voice and video conferencing facility built into G Suite and Google for Education. Now, Google Meet is an amazing tool using which you can hold classes online so that your students can join classes and you can deliver your courses and lectures within a Google Meet session itself. Google Meet is highly secure and highly productive. You also have Google Calendars wherein you can see your class calendar in it. You can update a class calendar. You can add the schedule of your class on the Google Calendar specific to your class so that your students are updated and your teachers and co-teachers are also updated of that specific class. You also have a Class Drive folder wherein you can jump in and have all the materials which are created by the teacher available on a single folder within Google Drive. Now, the Class Drive folder is restricted to the teachers and it is restricted to the students. What I mean by that is whatever a teacher can see, it's not necessary that the student can see everything. It is restricted. A teacher might have a scheduled post, and that scheduled post is going to be added onto this Class Drive only for the teacher to view. And once the student gets access to it, the student only sees his or her version of that particular assignment and nothing else. Now let's jump into people. Now within people, you can add a co-teacher. If you want to have another teacher within your class, you can add a co-teacher, or you can add students within your classroom. Now a student can also be added by sharing this class code with them, and they would be easily able to click on the join class button when they go into classroom.google.com and accessing the class from there. A student can also be added by clicking on the invite student button and adding their email address over here. You can also choose to add students in bulk by adding multiple email addresses together by simply selecting the email address and then keeping on adding these email addresses in bulk. You can also select multiple email addresses and paste it onto this box and invite all of these students at the same time. For this example, I'm just going to add one student and let's invite this student. Once the student is added, they can access the Google Classroom and start working on the assignments and viewing the materials and join classes proactively. Now, at the same time, you can also have the grades section. The grade section will look much more filled up after I show you the student section of Google Classroom. Now, before I show you the student section of Google Classroom, I would like to show you how the settings can work for a specific class. You can jump into settings by clicking on the settings gear icon on the right side of your screen. And as you can see, this gear icon is also present on the classroom dashboard. So you need not go into any specific section to access this, and you have an access to this everywhere across your Google Classroom. And again, this is only for the teacher to see, and students do not have access to the settings feature. Now, let me take you into the settings feature over here. Now, within the settings feature, you can update the name of the class and other fields which you had updated earlier. You can choose to have the class code enabled, disabled, reset, or copied as per your requirement. You can choose to have students post onto your stream section, or you can only restrict it for only teachers to post or comment on the stream section. The stream section, if you remember, is the first section which we demonstrated in this particular session. You can also have the classwork displayed on the stream. As and when classwork is added on your classroom, the stream section gets updated with the classwork. You can choose to have it in a detailed manner, in a condensed manner, or you can simply hide all the notifications. Here you can even choose to generate the meeting link for your Google Meet session, and you can simply do that by clicking on the generate meet link. And here, as you can see, there is an individual meet link which is created, and you can also control this by clicking on it, and you can reset it. So if it's leaked, for example, if it has been accessed by somebody else and you want to reset it, you can easily go in and reset this particular link. Now I will choose to have it visible so that the students can easily access that particular meet link. You also have some settings regarding the grading of a particular class, and you can enable or disable certain features from here. So that's all for the settings. And now it's time to show you the students side of Google Classroom. So here we are at the student section of Google Classroom. Now, as you can see, this is the same page or a similar page that to the teachers section. But if you can see that there are a few features, a few settings which are not there on this particular dashboard. Now, this plus icon only allows you to join a class, but does not allow you to create a class since you are not a teacher. Now, since I have already invited this student, the student can see the Magic Math class, and I can choose to decline or join on this particular class. Now, since I want to join this class, I will simply say join and jump into this particular class. Now, after I join this class as a student, I would be able to see the announcements or the stream activities which has happened for my classroom. I would also be able to see the classwork which are added, and I would also be able to see the teachers which are part of this particular classroom. I will not be able to see the other students, but only be able to see the teacher who is part of this particular classroom. Now let me go back into the stream section and show you a quick feature which is very important. Now, as a student, I want to know which are the activities which are upcoming and which are going to be due very soon. And here on the upcoming dashboard, I would be able to see which are the activities which are going to get due, and I need to quickly finish those activities. So I can easily understand from here on the left side of my screen and finish that particular assignment. And as you know, students are somebody who does things at the last moment. And this is something which can help them understand if something is going to be due, and they can quickly go into it and complete their work. Now, in the classwork section, you would be able to see the courses available on that particular class. And this is not something which you need to add at the same time. And usually what teachers do is they only create the topics and the structure, but they add the materials within it as and when the class progresses. We don't maybe add materials proactively before the class has commenced. I have added these materials here so that I can show you this example and demonstration, but you can choose to have these materials posted as and when you want it. Okay. Now, if you remember, I had made this Magic Math one-on-one as a material, and the student can see it as a material. They do not have to do any assignment on it, and it is just a document, a material for them to review. So that is how it appears. Now, on the addition assignment, I had created a specific document and I had tagged it for them. Now, if you notice, that document has changed its name, and then it has added the name of the student against the name of the document. As you can see, that name has been updated, and this has created a specific file, a specific document for that student to work upon. Now the student can easily go in, update the document, and turn the document in for the teacher to grade it. I'm just going to turn this document in as a sample. And this is going to go back to the teacher, and the teacher is going to get a notification that the student has turned in the assignment. The student will also get a prompt if you want to turn in the document or the assignment, and I will say yes, I want to turn it in. Now here, the student also has an option to add a private comment, and this comment is only between the student and the teacher. So I will maybe say, hi there, I have some doubts on this assignment. Okay, I have some doubts on this assignment. I will simply say send, and the teacher would be able to see that private comment when they open the assignment. Okay, now I would close this assignment and close this as well, and I would now jump back into my Magic Math classroom, and within the classwork section I have now turned the addition assignment in. Now I have a quick question over here. What is 4 minus 2? So I can simply go into the view question as a student, okay, and I can type in the answer over here. Type your answer. So I would say 4 minus 2, I think that's 2, right? And I would just put in the answer, and I will say turn in. And it says that you won't be able to make a change after you submit, and that's what we need as a teacher. And let's just say turn in. Now once we have done that, the students can also see the other classmates' answers over here if there are plenty of students, and they can refer back to these answers over here. Now this is an interesting feature wherein your students can understand what has the majority of the class answered. So this is something very interesting as a feature within Google Classroom. Now let's jump back in, go into Classwork, and try out the Magic Math quiz, right? The quiz which we had created while we were a teacher, right? Now here, as a student, I can jump into the quiz, the Magic Math quiz, and I can attempt to complete that quiz as a student. Now what is 5 plus 7? I think that's 12. Okay, and what is 10 minus 8? Is that 6? No, it's 8, right? So let's say 8, and let's say submit. Now once I have submitted, I can easily go and view my score because I had made it a self-graded form, and I see that my points are 2 out of 2 because I had put 1 point each for a right answer, and I've got both my answers right. So that's 2 out of 2, and I think I have done it beautifully. So now I can also go back, open the assignment, and review what has happened onto my assignment, or I can add a private comment so that the teacher reviews it from their side. Now as a student, I think that's all I wanted to show you. That's from a student's perspective. Now let's jump back into the teacher's view. Now here we are back into the teacher's view. Now if you look at it from a teacher's perspective, you can go back into the classroom, and you would be now able to see the assignments are updated. As you see, the assignment has now been turned in. There is a quick question by one of the students which is also turned in, and there is also a Magic Math quiz which is also turned in. Now let's click on the turned in button to see what are the grades and how the students have performed. Now as you can see, the grades are not updated over here, and one student has turned the quiz in. Now I want to also import the grades from my Google form. So I can simply click on the import grades button over here, and it'll just prompt me if I'm sure that I want to import it. I say yes, let's import it, and it takes a couple of seconds, and then it imports the grades into my classroom. And I see the grade has now been imported. 2 out of 2, it is draft because I want the teacher also to quickly certify that particular grade. And here I can certify it, and I can return it to the student at a graded level. I can also put in a comment for the student, maybe well done. Now since we are all working from our homes and teaching from our homes, some motivation for the student can do a lot of help for that student. So let's just say well done and return that particular assignment for that student to view the final grade. And here, as you can see, my interface has changed. Turned in becomes 0 because there is nothing pending for the teacher to grade. Assigned is 0 because I have not assigned any further forms or assignments to that students, and 1 is in the graded section because I recently graded a student. I can now quickly go back into my dashboard and look into the grade section to see the overall grades the students have got. As you can see, the quick question and the assignment has not been graded, so just for the sake of this demonstration, let me go back in and quickly grade these things as well. So let me just view the question, and that's the answer is 2. I'll just say well done, and I'll submit that, and I will put in the marks over here, and I'm going to turn that in as well, and that's graded. And now let's jump back into the dashboard once again, look into the assignment of addition, go back into the turned in, and let's again just grade that in again over here once again. Now if you want to see the assignment which is done by the student, you can easily click on that document, because as you see, this document is now specific to that student. It is not the common document which you had shared. It is a document which is pertaining to that individual student. You can see the private comments which that student has added into this particular assignment, so that you can talk to that student in a private way, or you can have them on a video call. Now once everything is finalized, you can grade the student from within the page. Now since the student has not filled in anything, I will maybe give him 0 points, and then I will say return. And I'm returning the assignment to the student with a 0 point over here. And I'll just say return, and this assignment has now been graded. Now let's just go back in. I'll just close this page, and I'll go back into the dashboard, going to the grade section, and I can see that now my average class grade for the Magic Math quiz is 2, because there's just one student who has attempted it, and based on this I can see what is my average or aggregate of that individual class or that individual assignment. Understanding this will help me that a certain assignment has a lower aggregate or a lower score across the class, and that is something I need to focus on for my next lesson or my next class. So these are some of the insights which you can get as a class teacher when you are teaching online. As you saw in this demonstration, Google Classroom is an amazing tool for your daily activities, for your daily online tuition necessities as a school, as a university, or as a private institute which you're running, and if you're eligible for Google for Education. Now Google Classroom is also available for the normal business accounts and also your personal Gmail account, and most of the features, they work in the same way which I have explained. So if you want to make use of that and run your small private tuitions or local classes using Google Classroom, you can also do that, but I would recommend you have your school created, licensed, and then apply for G Suite for Education so that you get the maximum benefits of Google for Education. At the same time, if you want, or if you are a school or education who wants to adopt Google for Education and you need some assistance or help on this, you can feel free to contact me on connect@yahyazakir.com, and I would be happy to facilitate this for you through various channels and solutions which I have been doing for the last couple of years. Thank you for being on the session with me. I hope this session has been enjoyable and interesting for you, and I hope it has been highly insightful and knowledgeable. I would appreciate if you can like my video and subscribe to the channel so that I can be motivated to make more such videos and help you even further. Feel free to leave your comments on the comment section below, and I would be happy to answer the questions for you. So once again, thank you, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.